Greetings YouTube, Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Welcome back as we look at another indie game. This time I'm checking out another post-apocalyptic adventure game set in the sunny Soviet Union. 35mm was created by Noskov SS and published by Sometimes You, who specialise in promoting individual and innovative indie games. They're a massive supporter of small content creators like myself. This title is one of the more recent games classed as walking simulators, a genre I've only recently started to explore. However, the post-apocalyptic setting and the bleak story really appealed to me, so I decided to give this game a try. While there are elements of the game such as the puzzles that I enjoyed, there are a number of factors that contributed to me not recommending this game. Normally, I don't review games I can't recommend. The negative backlash from developers and sometimes viewers often makes it not worth the effort. However, Sometimes You supported me right from the beginning of my channel, and this is the first of their games I didn't enjoy. Therefore, I wanted to give them and the developer some feedback that I hope will assist them in their future work. 35mm starts with a player picking over the remains of a ruined home along with their friend. With all of the supplies already taken, the duo decide to make the long trek into the nearest city, which will hopefully provide the supplies necessary for long-term survival. As the journey to safety continues, the player will face dangerous wildlife, bandits preying on the weak, and the everyday struggle of the post-apocalypse, like finding food and medicine and helping your fellow survivors should you choose to. The game's story, which includes the backstory of the main characters and the origins of the apocalypse, can be uncovered through exploring. You can find letters, notes, and journals from other survivors. Exploration is heavily encouraged, with one of my favourite aspects of the game being to find these scraps of information. Observant players can also unlock a number of endings to the game, via your choice of puzzles and also your decision to assist or not assist others. This is a great feature to the game, especially given the short duration of the campaign, which can be completed in a few hours. The problem, at least for me, is not the story or the characters, but the game mechanics. The first problem is with the character's walking speed. It's painfully slow. Most walking simulator games will deliberately slow or obstruct player movement during important scenes or conversations. However, the problem is that the player is stuck at this slow speed permanently. This is made worse when you realise that you have to wait for your partner that at times walks even slower than you or gets stuck in the scenery. The game is very light on exposition, with the large parts of the campaign spent in silence. You do have a key to sprint, but doing so will consume your energy, which can only be replenished by food. Food is relatively rare and used in certain situations where you have to sprint from enemies or hazards. This meant I found myself stuck walking for long periods of time, constantly stopping to wait for the AI to catch up. The second issue was the maps. The game encourages players to explore the map to uncover supplies and the hidden notes to unlock the additional endings of the game. However, the player is restricted by these invisible barriers more commonly found in on-rail games. It was frustrating to walk into a new town to discover that only a few houses were accessible due to these barriers. The next issue is the puzzles and the player tools and weapons. During the game you can access to a variety of weapons and tools, including knives, axes and crowbars. Most of these are barely used during the game, with the axe only being used to break a few doors and the knife to disarm a few traps. I understand the game is not an action title, but they could have at least had you using these tools in inventive ways. The player also has access to a camera as they're an amateur photographer. I'm astonished that this wasn't used in the puzzle somehow. It feels like a massive missed opportunity. The puzzles in the game are far too easy. Granted, I'm becoming a seasoned puzzle game player thanks to these reviews, but most of them I solved in seconds. Ironically, the puzzle that took the longest time was a children's jigsaw puzzle required to get the good ending of the game. Finally, there's combat. This game does contain combat sections, but they feel like an afterthought. Most of the battles are won via quick time events with little opportunity to use any of your weapons or tools. These sections could almost have been removed from the game with little effect. Given this game wasn't to my taste, I tried some other walking simulator games, including Narcosis and Amnesia, which I thoroughly enjoyed. So my issues aren't with this genre. I also tried some of the developers' other work to get a feel for their style. I played Seventh Sector, a sci-fi puzzle game with well thought out puzzles and a cyberpunk style. Seventh Sector was developed following 35mm, so the developer is definitely improving in their work. Therefore, my recommendation would be to check out Seventh Sector, as it's a far superior title. However, if you do want to check out this game, I would suggest picking it up in a sale. I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you did, I would appreciate a like or a subscribe, as it really helps the channel. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I hope you'll join me next time when we look at another indie game. Until then, Skill Incarnate, out.